All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the JCP. Cole,
Yes.
where's Jacob?
Well, you see, he's still leg messed up land, whatever you want to call that.
Oh, he's still broken.
Pretty much, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, as we can see here, folks. Sorry, I was looking for my phone so I can keep track of something. All right. Welcome, all you beautiful broken chairs, to the JCP and so perspective. This is the Week 7 show for the Week 6 show for the NFL, I believe. I said that right. Week 7 show. My bad. I'm all over the place today. Week 7 show.
Juggling.
So to start this one off, we got news
Week
as
8,
always.
actually. I mean, that's where we're heading.
We're heading there. That's tomorrow, boy.
I gotta mess with your head a little bit.
Oh, I'm already in a million different areas. All right. So to start with the news, ladies and gentlemen, Niners QB Brock.
Wait. Hold on. You can't just start it off with the news without saying something first. Do you know what that something is?
Down go the Bills.
Yes. Yes. That's all I wanted to say was man, that was just wow. Anyways, we'll get into that. I just wanted to make some light of that. Go ahead.
All right, so like I was saying, 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy is in concussion protocol following their loss last week to the Vikings. If Purdy is not able to go, obviously it'll be veteran quarterback Sam Darnold, and I think that will be the test of how good is this offense. If Sam Darnold can step in and win games while Purdy's out, then that just shows how good this offense is. And maybe Purdy isn't as good as everyone says he is, but that's just me.
I think you might be onto something there. I mean, realistically, Purdy didn't look very purdy this week or last week, really. Of course, back-to-back L's for the first time in a while for the Niners. So it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward for sure, and how much Sam Darnold's going to be able to fit in this offense.
Yeah. I mean, we all saw when Debo and CMC can't make things happen, that offense is kind of useless.
Right.
So we shall see. But
Even though I think Ayuk is the best wideout on that team, honestly.
yeah, I'll agree with that. As far as like pure receiver, yeah, I'll agree with
Right.
that. Other news: the NFL told Colts owner Jim Irsay that officials didn't make the correct calls at the end of the Colts Brown game. One of the penalties occurring is the where is it? I just saw it. The first penalty, an illegal contact call on Colts cornerback Darrell Baker Jr. wiped out a potential game-winning fumble recovery, and the second was defensive pass interference. Also against Baker, gave the Browns the ball at the Colts 1 yard line with 33 seconds left in the game. Cole,
Yep.
we've ranted about this before. I think it's about four. I think it's been 2 seasons, 4 episodes. That we always, going back to the college football show, we always rant about the refs. We already have 2 this season. Cole, what is going on in official land?
Well, I feel like the SpongeBob meme right now. Like that one fish that looks at the old guy and goes, "How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?" I feel like that's us to you officials. Like, seriously, it's not a hard concept to get down. If you cannot call a game properly, you should not be an official. I don't know how this is tough. I don't know how they hire you guys, but they honestly don't care about football. I mean, just look at these games like constantly. This isn't the first time either. Constantly get ruined by referees. I mean, something has to be done. I don't know if you have to clear house. I don't know if you have to up your standards to become a football ref, but you got to do something here.
Yeah, like this is getting out of hand. Like, and also refs should be held to the same gambling policy that players are. Just
Yes.
saying, I'm going to leave that at that and not touch that. But it's a national fixed league, so who knows? So
In
next, go ahead.
Insert the eyes peering emoji. You know what I'm talking about.
So next on the docket is the Browns are going to start PJ Walker this week versus the Seahawks. Deshaun Watson is out.
Oh man, like okay, first and foremost, PJ Walker, I like him a lot more than most people. I think he's a very capable quarterback and I'm glad he's getting a shot. With that being said, Browns, I don't understand you guys. You know, you extended Deshaun Watson, you thought he was going to be the savior of your franchise, you screwed over Baker Mayfield for that, and now you've done nothing but pay for that move. I mean, you're still 4-2 with all that being considered, but it's just like how did that work out for you? Because you're not a legitimate playoff team. You're
No.
not gonna, unless Deshaun comes back and he has a full head of steam, you're not a playoff team. That's gonna go in and win the Super Bowl. You'll make it. You just won't do anything.
Yeah.
And that trade is why.
Well,
So
Deshaun is working through a shoulder injury right now, so
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, in comparison to that trade, and it's kind of almost what goes around comes around with the Browns. That's what's happening because, you screwed over Baker. I mean, he's doing okay now with Tampa, but I'm just saying, you ran him out of town. You got this new racehorse. You thought he'd be all that, and he wasn't. So
well, what do you expect from shit ownership?
that's a
Shit
solid
coaching,
point,
shit
too.
ownership. The best draft pick you've made
Joe
was,
Thomas,
well,
probably.
no, Miles Garrett,
Myles
but
Garrett.
yeah, Miles Garrett and Chubb. So
Justice for Joe Thomas.
agreed. The Titans are preparing rookie quarterback Will Levis to start this week versus the Falcons. Ryan Tannehill is out with an ankle injury and is unlikely to go. I don't believe they have confidence in Malik Willis to start. So here's Levis. Cole, how does this change the Titans' game plan, or does it just anchor down Derrick Henry more?
Well, this can go well. First off, I want to start with this. Thank you for finally listening to us, Mike Vrabel. I said not too long ago that you should give Will Levis a shot. Finally, you do it. Thank you. So we'll start there. Second, I don't know. This could go one of two ways. Either you trust Will Levis as you should, but again, either you trust him and you let him be him, let him throw the ball, let him make mistakes, let him learn, or you do a stupid thing, but I mean, it would help me in fantasy, so like, I wouldn't technically hate it, but I would hate it as a football fan. Or you run the ball 60 times or more with Derrick Henry and you show that you're afraid to throw because you don't want to make a mistake. The way I look at it, Titans, realistically, your year is pretty much over. You're 2-4. I know there's a lot of football left to be played, but do you really think with this squad that you could win a Super Bowl? I personally don't think so. So what I would do if I was Mike Vrabel, I would say, look, kid, this is your team. Here's the ball. Gun it. And if you make mistakes, don't worry about it. This is your learning time. Now, if it continues, into next year and maybe the year after, then you ask some questions. But for now, let the kid sling it. Let him be who he can be because he can be the guy who can
Yes,
turn this Titans team into a Super Bowl contender.
better arm than Tannehill. He'll learn the decision making, but he's got a better arm than Tannehill. And I mean, let's be honest, he's probably just a nicer, more polished version of Tannehill.
Yep.
So Cole, I have breaking news for you. Heartbreaking
Oh,
news for you.
oh no.
The Patriots waived Malik Cunningham again. Second time this year. What are you doing, Bill? Your team's awful. Give the kid a chance.
I would say I'm surprised, but
you're not.
honestly, the Patriots, this is pretty standard. I mean, first you get rid of Matt Corral. That sucked. Wait, no, that was the Panthers. My mistake. Yeah, you get rid of Matt Corral, then you sign Matt Corral, and then you do get rid of Matt Corral, right? They did
I
waive
believe
him.
they
I'm
did.
not
Yes.
sure. Okay.
Yeah, they waived. Yeah, I think they signed him after Carolina waived him.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I'm not going crazy. Good. So first you break my heart with Matt Corral. Like, why'd you do that? I don't know. And now you give Malik Cunningham the boot again. Like, Bill, are we trusting Mac Jones? Are we not trusting Mac Jones? Like, what? What? I'm lost for words. I don't understand any of this. I mean, here's a guy. If you watch, the Ravens at all, you can see Lamar Jackson changed their whole team and made them contenders. Malik Cunningham is just like Lamar Jackson. He could have changed you guys to be a contender long term if you, utilized him correctly. What the hell is this? I just I, I'm I I'm mad. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm with you there. There's people going, get rid of this kid. What do you mean, get rid of this kid? It's his first year in the league. Give him a chance. Bill Belichick has proven to be able to turn quarterbacks into receivers or whatever. Let him do his thing. But why are you getting rid of probably your most athletically gifted person on the team?
Yep, I'm right there with you.
Doesn't make sense. Anyway, speaking of not making sense, Tennessee, the Eagles might as well be a better coach Tennessee Titans at this point. Eagles acquire safety Kevin Byard from the Titans in exchange for safety Terrell Emmons, first round pick from Pittsburgh for this year's draft, and the 2024 fifth and sixth round picks. Cole, the Eagles secondary just got better, and Howie is doing it again in Philly. He's just undressing Tennessee.
I don't mind this move because, like, okay, initially when I first read it and it was coming out, it just said Kevin Byard for a fifth and a sixth and Terrell Edmonds, and I was pissed off. But now you add in the first round pick, and it makes a little more sense. Because think about this. Titans, realistically, like I was just saying, you're not winning now. It's not going to happen. The Eagles are winning now. Maybe they don't win a Super Bowl this year. Maybe they do. I think they could make a case again. Okay, so this makes sense. You bring in a safety, you hawk down the secondary. That's good. What do the Titans get in return? You get Terrell Edmonds, which is a pretty mid safety. I mean, he's not great, not awful. He's mediocre. He might help, though, in the short term. And then on top of that, you get a first round from Pittsburgh, who is not doing too well. And then you get a fifth and a sixth to play with. Like, this is a win, in my opinion, for the Titans long term. And then short term, of course, I mean, the Eagles, if they can win a Super Bowl now, this trade, it's worth it. So both sides can win in this situation, but will they win? That's my question for you, Chooch.
Yeah, and we shall see. Also, on other breaking news, the Rams released kicker Brett Maher after he missed 3 field goals in the loss to the Steelers on Sunday. With that being said, Rams have been working out kickers along with former Green Bay Packer Mason Crosby.
Ooh.
Yep. He's got 1,918 points, by the way, in his career as a kicker.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I was shocked somebody gave Maher a shot after last year's debacle. This was your shot, and you blew it. So I don't think we'll ever see Brett kick again in the NFL. Maybe somewhere, maybe down the line, maybe somebody needs a kicker later, but I would not. I would stay away because he can't make PATs. Somehow he can make longer kicks though, so it's a weird dynamic.
Yeah. Also, I didn't write it up, but Chris Olave was arrested for reckless operation of a motor vehicle Monday night in Louisiana. He was doing 70 to 35. You know what he said to the cop?
I play for the Saints. I did.
And the cop retorted with, "Okay, and."
Real quick, I do want to say this. I applaud that cop.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Someone's got to teach these young kids coming into the league that just because you're on a football team, these cops got a job to do and keep people safe. And if you want to hurt people because you can't control your urges, then that's on you, not the cop.
Exactly.
Not the cop. But what do we know? We're just two idiots with microphones, right?
See, and I say the same thing like with every player, like Malik Neighbors, for example, at LSU during the off season, he was caught like I think it was carrying a gun in an area over there and got arrested. And they let him go. And I was like, that's ridiculous. If you do something wrong, I don't care who you are. You could be the best player in football, best hockey player, best basketball, baseball, don't matter if you do something wrong, at the end of the day, we're all souls, and no soul weighs more than the other. We're all the same in the eyes of God. So why aren't we all the same when it comes to punishment on this earth? It's ridiculous. So bravo on that cop.
Yeah, for real. Bravo, officer. So now, what you folks are here to be here for, obviously, week 7. All right, we're going to start it off with the Jaguars Saints Thursday night matchup in New Orleans. Trevor Lawrence, 20-29, 204 yards, 1 touchdown. He also had 8 carries for 59 yards. ETN, another multi-touchdown game. Christian Kirk, 6 receptions, 90 yards. Derek Carr, 33 of 55, 301, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Why is Derek Carr throwing the football 55 times? Alvin Kamara, 12 receptions, 91 yards. What?
Yeah.
What makes you think it's okay to I get it. Derek Carr's he's a decent thrower. He's not 55 times a game.
No.
That's Josh
I mean,
Allen. That's Herbert. That's Mahomes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Rodgers. Those are the guys you have throw 55 times a game because they simply can. But you're also going to run the ball 50 times or 30 times that game because it's little dink and dunks once in a while. So, Cole, unbox this one.
Yeah, so for me, what this game showed was Jacksonville is really in the full swing of just looking tremendous, really. I mean, I know this game a lot closer than you want to hear for that type of a statement, but Trevor Lawrence is cooking. I mean, 0 sacks too. Congrats to the O-line. They did their job. But 20 for 29 for 204 and a touchdown. Like, what more could you ask for? That was beautiful. I like the rushing game. I mean, I wish they'd give Tank Bigsby a few more shots, but aside from that, it went pretty well. Really spread the love in terms of who got catches. You had Ingram, he had quite a few, Christian Kirk, Jamal Agnew. So, again, anytime you can get more involved, that's a good thing. I was just really impressed with the way they played, and this team that they can do a lot. I mean, realistically, they got everything ahead of them. They're ahead in their division. This Jaguars team is going to be a team that maybe some people overlook when it comes to playoff teams. Keep this team in mind. They could do something this year. As for the Saints, oh man. 50, like Cheech was saying, 55 times you had Derek Carr throw. That's not a way for success. It's stupidity. I don't know if you don't trust your running game. I don't know if the coordinator got past happy. I really don't understand it. They need to figure something out in terms of play calling. Now, I will say the Saints defense, they did their best, man. They were out on the field for a long time. They're trying to hang in there, giving up 31 points. I mean, it's less than desirable, but you still were hanging on. You still were fighting the whole game. And also, I want to say this because this was absolutely disgusting. Foster Moreau, if you didn't watch the game, he drops touchdown that would have tied this game, and people were absolutely vicious on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And I'm sure other places too. I only saw it from there though. And they were making awful comments about, he should have died and all this other stuff. Like, guys, it's a game. All right, let's grow up. There is no way that a game
Get your
should
fat
ever
ass off the couch and go make that catch.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is big. You know, this game, it's game on the line, and you catch it. Obviously, yeah, your team ties it up with the PAT, but at the end of the day, it's a human being. I mean, do you guys not make mistakes at your job? Because let me tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, I make a lot of mistakes. All right. And if you guys saw it, you might laugh at me. You might want to, harm me, whatever. Um, this is really a time for people to look in the mirror because that is absolutely sick and should never happen. So, you know who you are, and I don't care if you bet on the game. So,
I mean, these
I
are
just
probably the
wanted
same
to
people that want Brian Kelly and Jay Johnson fired too, because look at the state we're in. So,
right.
it actually kind of makes sense. I'm going to come out and say it. Louisiana, you can hate me all you want. New Orleans, you can hate me too. You might be the worst fan base in all of states.
It's possible, yeah.
Like, you are the worst. You are the most wishy-washy people. Just stick to it. Give your coaches and your players a chance. Foster Moreau is a homeboy from Louisiana State University. You're going to sit there and tell him he should have died? The man just survived cancer and is now playing football in the NFL. And you want to say that shit? Get a life.
Sick.
Get off your couch. Touch some grass. Maybe touch your wife.
But
But
come on, they don't have wives.
sorry, you're a blow up doll. Anyways, I digress. Second game of the Raiders. Raiders. You know what? I'm not even going to get into the statistics of this game. You lost to a D3 at quarterback. Okay,
Pretty
hold on.
much.
Nathan Peterman got a snap in this game, Vegas, against you. I thought he was retired from football. Chicago just did their thing though, and they won 30-12. The Bears ran the ball a lot. Dante Foreman, 16 carries, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. De'Aaron Evans, 14 carries, 48 yards. DJ Moore, 8 receptions, 54 yards. This is Nathan Peterman did have 1 turnover, so the legend is still alive. Cole, Chicago's 2-5. Nothing looks good in Vegas. I don't know why Brian Hoyer even started this game over Aiden O'Connell. Josh McDaniels is a dummy.
Yeah.
Personally, should have been fired after last year. That's just me. No, you guys should have kept the coach that was finished it off last year because this team was playing for him and they liked him.
I mean,
McDaniels,
this was ugly.
go back, beat Belichick's pocket boy. Josh Jacobs had 11 carries. Arguably the second best running back in the league had 11 carries.
So I want to start my side off on this game with a very simple message. Offensive line coaches in the NFL, bring it in. We need to zoom in for this. 15. No, actually, let me retract that. Not even 15. You had 2 sacks for the Bears that went for 12 yards. And then for the Raiders, you had 1 sack that went for 8 yards, which is better. So I want to say, good job on somewhat addressing the idea. But I have seen it so much this year that you need to change whatever you need to change. I'm not necessarily saying this game, but around sometimes you see their quarterback get hit or sacked 5 times, 6 times, 8 times. There needs to be something done here. I get defenses are good. I get guys make plays. If you give up, like this game, if you give up 2, maybe 3 a game, okay, that's fine. But please address this in a better manner. My next comment here is for Vegas. I mean, just sick. I don't know what anything is anymore with this team. It's not, it's clear. Aiden O'Connell is better than Hoyer. Aiden O'Connell is the best quarterback you got on the roster. I don't even think it's close. And you only let him throw 13 times. I get he threw a pick, but he's a rookie. He threw a touchdown too, but nobody wants to talk about that. And like Chooch was saying, you threw the ball 45 times the whole game. and you ran it 14 times. That's an awful ratio. You need to be more balanced. And it's not even close. It's absolutely embarrassing. I honestly don't even know why Devontae Adams is on this team. I mean, he should go somewhere where, they have a chance at winning a Super Bowl, and this is not that place. So please package him up in a deal, get some picks out of him, do something. Hell, get Max Crosby off the team too. I love him. I'm not saying anything bad, but please, get him somewhere to where he can be effective. Um, I, yeah, I like as a Raiders fan, I hate saying that, but please, let him eat somewhere else. Um, and then as for the Bears, I mean, they played a really good game. We made Tyson look like a superstar quarterback. He was safe with the ball. He was efficient, 21 for 29. Their run game looked pretty good. They had a combined 173 yards on 38 carries. So, again, that is what it is. DJ Moore had a pretty subpar day. Darnell Mooney didn't really do a lot. And then the Bears defense, they had 3 picks. Thanks, Brian Hoyer. And I guess Aiden O'Connell, I mean, he did throw one of them, but Hoyer, you should at this point be a lot better than you are. So just an embarrassing loss all in all. Should have been at least close, and it wasn't.
Yeah. And actually, this is a game Vegas should have won, honestly. But
I agree.
I digress. Next up on the docket, the Browns, we talked about this earlier, got lucky against the Colts. PJ Walker, 15 to 32, 178 yards, 1 pick. Gardner Minshew is the next Ryan Fitzpatrick, by the way. Just going to say that now. 15 to 23, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. You also look at Josh Downs, 5 receptions, 125 yards for the Colts. One thing this Colts team will do is find a way to keep it close no matter how bad they are. And this isn't a bad team. Just Minshew had 3 turnovers. And, well, you heard it earlier. Officials messed up.
Go figure. My take from this game and Vegas. Hey, come look at the Browns stat sheet here. 37 passes, 33 runs. Balance. Crazy, I know. So Cleveland, thank you. Thank your offensive play caller there for being even, pretty even, I should say, with the play calls. That's how you're supposed to do it after all. This game was fun. I mean, it just showed again what I've been saying all year about this Colts team. And like Jude just mentioned, they fight till the end. They're a fun team to watch. If you get the chance to this Sunday, definitely give them a look, because they're a team that you could just never count out. They remind me of the old time Siena Saints in college basketball.
You're damn right it does.
Yeah,
that's a hometown team. By the way, damn right it does.
I mean, if you remember that team, go back to like 2010, that team could be down by 50 at half, and they would still find a way to come back and like lose by 2 or maybe even win. So that's who this team reminds me of a lot. I know, switching the sport there, but that's what this team reminds me of. And I know a lot of people will tarnish this win because of the bad reffing, and I mean, rightfully so, but don't take away from Cleveland. They played a good game. 4 sacks again. I already talked to the O-line coaches of the NFL, so not going to do it again, but, that's a good thing for the defense, and for the offense, you just got to work and stop sucking. And then for the Colts, I mean, again, just kind of an uglier game and a game of swings for sure, but just hanging into the last bit and just having that heartfelt just loss at the end. So really fun game though, minus the refs.
Very. I'm gonna skip here to the Bills Patriots. Patriots win 29-25. First of all, I'm not even gonna cover everyone's stats in this game. I'm just gonna say Buffalo. Why is it when you play shit teams, you play like shit? Josh Allen is only as good as his freaking opponent. Only as good as his opponent. I'm
Oh,
convinced
wow.
now. I'm actually kind of convinced you might actually have fooled us all. Brian Daboll might have been your dude. Might have been the reason why you were good. So you need to figure it out, and Sean McDermott needs to figure out why his team can't beat bad teams and why his team can't get past it. Oh, right, it's your defensive play calling.
No.
You literally spotted New England 10 points.
I mean,
You have all the weapons. All the weapons. You have two exceptionally good tight ends. Yes, Knox is out, but still, you have Stephon Diggs. I mean, there's a decent receiving core there. It's better than most teams. And why isn't your running backs? Why does James Cook only have 13 carries? James Cook only have 13 carries. Like you're just resorting back to what lost y'all the playoff game last year. Just throw the ball. Josh, don't worry, Josh can throw it 41 times and we'll run at 24 and see what happens.
So far, the sneaking theme of this show is offensive play callers not being balanced because realistically, yeah, I mean, I know technically it says 24 rushes, but 7 of them were Josh Allen. 17 runs for your running backs. That's absolutely unacceptable. You threw it 41 times. What I like modern day play calling, I just don't get. I will never understand it because it's like, okay, if you can do it, if your team is made to throw the football, I could see it. And say you didn't have a running back, say you had a terrible run blocking O line, okay, sure, then you got to throw. But this team is not that. I mean, you got James Cook, who's really good as a back, and you don't feature him. He's a novelty act at this point. And then you got Latavius Murray, which, like, okay, he's not great, but he can help. I mean,
he's a solid 2.
Exactly. I don't fully understand that. And meanwhile, defense, like as Chooch mentioned, you made Mac Jones look like an elite quarterback. He
Yep.
only threw 5 incompletions, got sacked 1 time, and threw for 2 touchdowns. I mean, what am I to say to this? I mean, this is embarrassing. You're supposed to be a top level team. You're supposed to win the Super Bowl or at least be close. And you lose to the Patriots, the team that is literally on fire. I don't know what to say. I really don't. How do you lose to them? How?
Yeah, well, they don't know.
Miami couldn't even boast the shit.
Miami couldn't even beat Buffalo.
I know. This it's unbelievable. You couldn't beat Buffalo, but they sure as hell could beat, New England.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. Also, I have a new theory. It's not Josh Allen. It's the Bills are only as good as their opponent.
I'd say that's fair.
Post. Copy. Anyways, moving on 2 games here. The Giants win a defensive battle in the Meadowlands against the Redskins. I don't care if they're Commanders, but the Redskins. Sam Howell, 22 of 42, 249 yards, 1 pick. Tyrod Taylor, 18 of 29, 279, 2 tutties. Listen, this is the best quarterback play we've had in consecutive weeks since last year. And we're 2-5. Saquon did run the ball 21 times, though. There was actually a balance here, and we won. See how that works, Buffalo? Balance everything out.
Yes.
Darren Waller, 7 receptions, 98 yards, 1 touchdown. Cole, break it down.
Well, I just think this was your typical. It really looked like an old school game. Really, I mean, if you want to show somebody what the olden days look like, you show them this football game, because I don't think it was one specific thing, realistically, that lost the Commanders this game or that gave the Giants a win. It was just 2 teams that really just didn't care too much about offense. That's what it looked like to me. I mean, every time they had something going, either it was a self-inflicted wound or it was just, we'll fizzle out, we'll punt the ball, or, the 2 times when the Giants scored, the one times when Washington scored, hey, we'll get on the board. But I just, I don't. It was just kind of a game that you really did not see coming. I thought Sam Howell was going to play a lot better. By the way, this is what I was talking about with the O-line coaches. 10 combined sacks between both teams. Howell 6 times for 52 yards. Tyrod Taylor 4 times for 29 yards. Figure it out. This should not be a thing. I mean, especially with the Giants. Like, I know, they haven't been great all year up front, but you have some elite guys. I love Evan Neal. I think he's really good, and somehow he's regressed. I love, Andrew Thomas. I think he's really good again, but again, regressed. Commanders. I mean, you got some, decently young guys and some older guys on that line that they should be gelling, and as you saw, 6 sacks. I mean, where does the madness end here? I don't get it. So yeah, and also Brian Robinson, only 8 carries. Chris Rodriguez, only 7 carries. Gibson, only 2 carries. I mean, you got 3 running backs that are capable that could literally start anywhere else. And you only give them combined now. Keep that in mind. Combined 16 attempts. Or no, 15 attempts. We even get worse. I mean,
It's bad.
it's not rocket science. Or actually, excuse me, 17 attempts. We got that correct now. 9 plus 8. There you go. Still ridiculous. Still pisses me off. Still, I don't get it. But yeah, that's my takeaway.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair takeaway. That's a fair takeaway. Next we're gonna move to the Falcons Buccaneers game. Falcons 16, Buccaneers 13, and a classic between these two that always seems to happen. Desmond Ridder 19 to 25, 250 yards. Baker 27 to 42, 275 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Listen, Allgaier 21 carries, 59 yards. Rashad White 13 carries, 34 yards. This goes back to the thing we were talking about literally almost every game this week. Balance.
Yes.
But
Seems
it's
like
okay.
balance wins.
Mike Evans and Godwin both had 6 receptions. So I guess the offense for Tampa isn't as bad as we thought it would be. Baker's doing his thing. Play calling's getting better. The team's getting better. Tampa's not out of it, but neither is Atlanta. Cole. What we got?
Okay. So remember a week ago when I got on here and there was so much hate for Desmond Ridder? The Falcons fans were saying, get rid of him. It's all his fault. He's so bad. Well, hey, guys, where was that energy this week? I didn't see it. I looked. Believe me, I looked. I didn't see it this week. Could it be that y'all won? Could it be that, he was 19 for 25 for 250 yards? Could it be that? Could it be the fact that, Drake London was pretty good? Could it be the fact that, for some reason, again, Arthur Smith doesn't really care about utilizing Kyle Pitts, even though, he's a really good tight end? But I'll save that rant. Folks, you owe this man an apology. That's my point. He's a good quarterback. Now, next week, if you lose, I don't want to see this man being blown up again in the comments. Got it? Good. Next part. Buccaneers played a pretty good game. I mean, realistically, like you were saying, this is a common battle, common rivalry. Not a lot of points for that reason, and just kind of a slugfest. I mean, you had really good defensive moments. You had some explosive plays. This was your typical fun rivalry game, really. I mean, I would be kind of shocked if something else happened here. What about you, Chooch? I think we're having microphone difficulties.
No, I keep forgetting to unmute myself.
Okay.
I mean, sorry. Listen, all I gotta say is Atlanta, get Beach on the ball more. and you're good. I mean, honestly, this Atlanta team is playing better than we thought.
Very much so.
But all right, sorry. On to the next game. Lions. Let's actually. I don't even want to talk about this. I'm kind of upset about this. Hey, Lamar went off though.
I mean, I'll keep it short and simple here. 53 passes, 14 runs for the Lions. And who lost this game and who only scored 6 points? The Lions. You wonder why?
Well, there was 14 rushes. Jahmyr Gibbs got the ball 11 times. I mean, St. Brown had 102 yards carrying. Receiving.
I was gonna say what?
But man, I don't see. I'm not convinced Baltimore's all that great. It's just they haven't really. I mean, I guess they keep winning games, but that's the Harbaugh way, right?
Yeah, they look pretty decent throughout the year, and then they get to the big playoffs, and then they lose. So they're right on schedule.
Especially John.
Oh yeah. The other one signed steals, so.
Well, we knew that already.
Sorry, Michigan. Not sorry.
But I don't, man. Gus Edwards, they literally ran the ball 27 times. It was all passing this game. Also, Jared Goff should only throw the ball like 35 times a game, not 53. But when you're down 14 in the first quarter, I guess you kind of have to, right?
I still okay. The panic signals for me don't. Well, it depends on the quarter. Like if you're down, say, 21-0 at the start of the second, then yeah. But like if you have something going, which I mean, if you look at the stats and you see the times when Jahmyr Gibbs got the ball, I really think you had something that you just went away from too quickly because 11 rushes for 68 yards. That's not bad. I don't know really why they gave up on it so quick. Not to mention your only touchdown.
Yeah, I don't either. Sorry, everything's acting up right now as I'm doing this. So, but man, I don't get it. Like you drafted the kid and you barely use the kid, and when you do use him, he pops off, and then you still don't use him. Like, yeah, Dan Campbell, you're a good coach, but like make it make sense. Make it make sense. So we talked about this game earlier. The Steelers, simply because Brett Maher can't make a kick, won the game 24-17. Pittsburgh now 4-2, sleepwalking their way to winning. Matthew Stafford, another Matthew Stafford-like performance. Kenny Pickett, still no touchdowns. Is he the next poor man's Derek Carr?
That's what it's sounding like, and we can all thank you, Matt Canada, for that one.
Mm-hmm. Just ruin a kid.
I mean, hey, he's had a record of doing it. Russell Gage at LSU, anybody? Nathan Peterman at Pitt, anybody? List goes on. I would say Darius Geis, but he kind of did that himself.
Oh no, he did. Definitely did. Definitely did. Oh wait, that is week 7. My bad. Sorry, I was getting the next segment ready.
Oh yeah, you're good.
On my computer. Listen, Najee Harris ran the ball more than 3 times today.
I was proud.
14, 53, 1 touchdown. Sorry. You got anything else for this game?
Yeah, I'm. My last part on this game is still Puka Nacua is still a beast. I mean, 8 receptions for over 150, so that's always great to see. And this was honestly one of those games that could have went either way, and I guess the Steelers over talent stealing, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, they always find wacky ways to win games, and it just proves more so that this division is the most wild division in football that absolutely makes no sense.
Never makes sense.
No.
Anyways, on to the next game. Seahawks win a good game against the Cardinals. I think Josh Dobbs has a job after this year.
I hope so.
Like, you can't just come in like Geno Smith did, literally testing rockets for NASA, and then just come out here and do your thing. You're taking care of the football. Geno Smith, 18-24, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Kenneth Walker, 26 carries, 105 yards. JSN, 4 receptions, 63 yards. And Jake Bobo, 4 receptions, 61 yards. Cole, Seattle's coming.
Well, that they are. And, we all kind of thought that Seattle would eventually get it together because Pete Carroll would probably rather die than have his team underperform. So, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Now, with all that being said, it was only the Cardinals. You did only win by 10, but you won. You beat the team that they put in front of you, and at the end of the day, that's all you can do. And the Cardinals, they confuse me. I mean, you have a week, to where you come out and you beat the Cowboys, and then you lose close some weeks, and then you get blown out other weeks, and it's just really a team that doesn't. I mean, very inconsistent because it's like the box of chocolates. You just don't know what's coming next.
Yeah, and really, if Seattle can finish the season this year, unlike last year, we could be looking at a Super Bowl team. They play good enough football. They play consistent enough football. Yeah, you know who I don't see on the Seahawks receiving?
Metcalf.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was out.
right. It's also nice Bobby Wagner's back.
Yeah,
in Seattle,
I love
too.
seeing him back.
Yeah, it is. But on to the next game here. We have the Packers and the Broncos. The Packers kind of free fall from, hey, we like this quarterback we got here. Continues to fall. I mean, 21-31, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, while Russell Wilson was 28-29, 194 yards, 1 touchdown. Javonte Williams, 15 carries, 82 yards. Cole, what? I don't know how to unbox this game.
Yeah, I mean, 1 week you think you got it all figured out with these two teams, like especially with the Broncos. You think, okay, they're gonna suck this year. They're just gonna leave it at that. It's done. It's over. We'll see you next year, and then they win. And with the Packers, it was looking for the longest time like this is the team to beat in their comp or division. They still own it. They're going to continue. Jordan Love is the second coming of Aaron Rodgers. And then you get to this point to where, last few weeks he's been struggling. Like, these two teams are just the weirdest. They're like the pinwheels, I guess you could say. Because, like, 1 week they look phenomenal. The next week they spin over and look terrible. The other week they look passable. The next week they lose a heartbreaker. The next week they get blown out. It's like, what are either of these teams? I don't know.
Muted. Sorry, I was muted again.
Oh, you're
The gas guy came to turn the heat on. Denver. Maybe if you could score this many points a game, maybe you'd actually win a few more games. But who knows? Your both stout defenses out there for too long.
seemed that way.
Sorry, now that we're back and on it, we're going to transfer over to the game that I personally thought was going to be a bit closer. Chargers Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 32 of 42, 424 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Herbert, 17 of 30, 259, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. But Joshua Palmer, breakout season continues. 5 receptions, 133 yards. Travis Kelce, 12 receptions, 179 yards, 1 touchdown. Cole. Does Staley need to be fired in LA? Because he's wasting this talent he has.
I was just going to say that as a matter of fact. Staley, get your ass out. I am so sick and tired of seeing this every flipping year. or week. Take your pick. But to me, I say year because, you had the lead against the Jaguars. You blew it. You had several times of games throughout your whole time in the Chargers that you could have won and you blew. And now you're handed a team with a shitload of talent. Like everywhere you look, and he's still coaching and he's still blowing games. If this does not scream fire the man to the front office, I don't know what does. I quite literally don't. Does the guy have to go like, winless to lose his job? Because this team should be a Super Bowl contender year in and year out, and the fact that they're not is a joke. If I was the front office, hear me out, folks. I'm firing Staley today. Quite literally. Well, I would have done it earlier than today, to be quite honest. I would have done it after the Jags game, but we're here, so today I would fire him. And then I would start talking with a certain guy in college right now. His name's Harbaugh from Michigan. Don't know if you guys know that, but he's doing pretty good over there. And he could take over this team and he could be a championship contender every year with this team.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So that's the simple fix. But in terms of the game, Patrick Mahomes did his thing. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, only 10 incompletions. Pacheco had a pretty okay game. Travis Kelce, oh my goodness, he busted it out. 12 receptions, 179 yards, 1 touchdown. I think he was just on a different planet. They just didn't seem to know how to cover him. And it just seemed like no, I guess you could say no adjustment at all. They were just like, okay, yeah, that's fine. He's just a tight end. Let him go. Meanwhile, they just kept driving down the field, kept scoring touchdowns, and LA crowd's pissed off, and they should be.
Agreed. And personally, Chargers fans, you've been living and done it too long. I'd be on Twitter right now saying fire this man, but especially after that playoff loss last year, like Cole said. Yeah.
How did the front office not fire him after that game?
Oh,
That's what I
he would have
wanna
been
know.
fired in literally the second that clock hit 0. Bye. Get your stuff. Get out of my locker room. I'm talking to this team.
I was gonna say I would have Lane Kiffined him, fire him on the tarmac. Find your own way home.
Not even, bro. I'm not even. We're not even getting out of the stadium yet. Find your way to the airport and get your own flight. You're going home. But next up, the game people were looking forward to Sunday night when it turned into a 14-point beatdown. Philadelphia beat the Dolphins in what could simply be described as the battle of I'm better than you, but my team still lost. I think Tua is better than Jalen Hurts. Just going to say it now. Jalen Hurts is a much better team around him. But Phillies, just big play slay. That's all I got to say. Big play slay. Tua, 23 of 32, 216 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Jalen Hurts, 23 of 31, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. They only ran the ball 12 times for Miami, while DeAndre Swift had 15 carries for 62 yards. A.J. Brown, 10 receptions, 137 yards. Tyreek Hill, 11 receptions, 88 yards. Cole, Philly's good.
You see, Philly reminds me of Georgia. And the reason I bring this up is it seems like every week we hear the same story. Are they good? They really struggled against XYZ. And then they come out in a big game where some people doubt them and they win. Like, I'm convinced Georgia Bulldogs and then Philadelphia Eagles, they're like the same team. Is Kirby Smart coaching that Philly team? Can we check? I don't know. I mean, really, it's the same story every other week. This team's awful. Then this team wins a big game and shuts up the critics, and then they struggle the next week, and they're like, "Oh, well, maybe," and then they win again. So, I'm not saying any more Philly slander. I'm not asking the question anymore. Are they good? I'm done. I They've shut me up enough. I've accepted it. We're moving to that point anymore to where, if anybody says anything, I'm just saying Eagles by 100. So yeah, but as for the Dolphins, just all pass, no run, typical. And Tyreek Hill had a pretty okay game. Jalen Waddle had a pretty okay game, and everybody else kind of sucks. So just to be pretty quick on that, it was pretty realistic. And the defense, on the other hand, they played okay. I mean, Jerome Baker had a pick, and you had 3 sacks on Jalen Hurts. So I mean, it was kind of what I expected. Not quite the heavyweight brawl everybody wanted to see, but Eagles.
And yeah, you beat me to it there. So we're gonna skip to the last game, Monday night's game. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I do know that Kirko Chains has won in primetime again, 35-45, 378 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jordan Addison, 7 receptions, 123 yards. Meanwhile, Brock Purdy, 21-30, 272 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. 2 interceptions. Kittle and Ayuk both for 5 receptions, but no touchdowns. We kind of started to touch on this earlier, but Cole, what's going on in San Fran right now? And Minnesota maybe starting to play some better football?
So I want to talk to Minnesota first. We're gonna start right here, and then I'll answer about San Francisco. But Minnesota, what are we doing this year? Quite literally, 1 week you come out and you beat one of the best teams in football, aka this week. Last week you struggled with the Bears. You didn't know how to play football. You looked that way, anyways. Then the week before that, you lost to the Chiefs by 7, and it was like, okay, that was close. The week before that, you beat the Panthers by 8, and everybody was wondering, like, okay, are they a football team? Are they not a football team? Are they just meant to play close games? You know, I'm very much confused. I don't know what team we're gonna see next week. But I guess we'll talk about this week. You won. You beat one of the best teams in football, so congrats. But can you please make up your mind and be consistent whether you're gonna suck or be great? Please.
I agree with that statement. I'll agree with that statement 100%.
And then to answer the 49ers question, I don't really know what to make of this team. I mean, if you give Christian McCaffrey the ball and you utilize Ayuk and Debo Samuel in a correct manner, you're pretty good. You usually win. But then you have games like this to where some ungodly reason you go, we're only going to give Christian McCaffrey the ball 15 times. We're only going to throw the ball to Ayuk. And that really doesn't matter, like 5 times only. And then you also have Debo Samuel, which I think he was out this game, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong on that, so I won't say anything about that. But they just don't make sense. Can you piece this team together at all, Juge?
No. All I know is it's extremely explosive. There's the right guys in place. I mean, I'm not saying Shanahan's a genius, but he's also got an uber talented team. So
True.
And the Vikings, whatever y'all did, worked. So keep it up. Kirk, good job. I'm proud of you.
Don't go back to being how you were, please.
Kirk, when you play like this, it makes me look like I know what I'm saying. Because who's riding on that train, Cole?
That be you for like ever.
Yep. Yep. All right. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our week 7 review of the games. Cole, I have a question for you before we get to fantasy takes. Is there one game you're looking forward to this week?
Well, that is a good question because there is a game that, looking forward, I have that red, I guess you'd call it Sharpie circle, one game this week. And that game, hold on, sorry, we're having Technical difficulties on my side. Okay, as I was saying, that game to me is the Cincinnati Bengals and the 49ers. We need to have answered in this game what type of Niners team you're going to be for the rest of the year, and if you're going to use Christian McCaffrey, please and thank you. And then the second part of that is Cincinnati, are we finally for real? Are we going to continue on the positive momentum off of the bye week, or are we going back to what we saw at the beginning of the year to where nothing made sense?
Yeah, and this is about I was gonna say this game, one you just said, or hold on, I was just looking at it. The Bills Buccaneers game this Thursday.
Ooh, I was thinking about that too.
But to touch on your game quick, this is about the time they expected Burrow back from the calf injury, anyways, right?
Right.
So now you had the bye week. He looked better the week before. He's coming out against San Fran. San Fran could drop their third straight. But I'm going to cover the Bills Buccaneers one quick. Buffalo needs to bounce back, and if anything Baker says is true about he just needs to make a couple more plays, then Tampa Bay is going to be an extremely dangerous team.
Oh yeah,
extremely dangerous team. And Buffalo doesn't have the best track record on short weeks. And the way Buffalo's O-line looks, they are going to struggle big time against the Bucs defense, because we all know how good that defense is. It's almost unchanged. But that's why.
That should be exciting.
Yeah. So next up, we have everyone's favorite fantasy takes. Cole, as we know, ladies and gentlemen, this is our good, our man, and our blah. So Cole, who's your good?
My good comes from Jordan Addison from the Vikings. I tried to tell you guys all year that this kid is such a special player, and finally he has his breakout week. This guy looked unguardable. I mean, he was open every other play, it seemed like. He was getting the ball. No Justin Jefferson, no problem. I love watching this cat play football, and thank you for proving me right, by the way.
Yeah. I'm going to sit here and say Tyrod. You had 22 points this last week. You didn't look bad. You look like Tyrod. You managed the game well enough. You're my good one for this week. As a Giants fan, I say thank you. That's not why I picked him. I picked him simply because he hasn't been on here at all, and his first week as starter, he puts up 22 points. So, Cole, who's your man?
My man is the New England defense this week. Ooh. Now, I know, you could argue to put them in the good this week, but they only put up 5 points. I mean, I get they were playing Buffalo, who is a better team, don't get me wrong, but they put up 5. They got the win, which is a huge positive. They had a fumble recovery, they had an interception, and a sack on Buffalo. That's pretty good. Of course, the negative side of that is you gave up 25 points. And again, I don't think, anybody was even expecting this kind of response. So that's why, I kind of see that 25 and I'm like, I give you a pass. It's not really your fault. You weren't really even picked to win this game. So the fact that this defense pulled together and was able to win, I consider that a mid.
Yeah. For my man, Justin Tucker. Only 8 points, and you had all those kicks. only 8 points, and your team scored 38. Usually when your team scores 38, you have what, I don't know, Greg Joseph has, or Young Hoku, or I don't know, Dustin Hopkins, who had 22. Yeah. Yeah, so you're my man, not my bad, because I know you and you're a fantastic human being. So yeah. Cole, who's your blah?
My awful, and we're going to do 2 defenses this time. This is the first time in the show's history we did 2 defenses. Detroit. Ooh. 0 points. And there really wasn't much positive to say about this. You gave up 38 points. Your one highlight was a fumble recovery. Aside from that, you got absolutely wrecked And I don't fully blame the defense again. It was tough under the circumstances, but still, 38 to this Baltimore team, unacceptable.
So I'm going to piggyback off the defense thing, and mine's San Fran.
Ooh.
Yeah, you only gave it 22 points, but you literally gave up. Oh my God, where is it? Oh my Lord, I lost it. Oh God, Cole, I lost what I was saying here. You gave up 452 total yards to a Justin Jefferson-less Vikings team.
Yeah.
8.4 yards per pass from Kirk Cousins. And Brock, though. And Brock, too. But we're not talking about your offense. We're talking about your defense. Just make it make sense. Don't do this again, San Fran. You're looking super overhyped. So everyone, ladies and gentlemen,
we got a three-peat here for the last segment.
So this is a rant here. So Cole, I'll let you take this one away.
So I'm gonna start with Lincoln Riley. We're kicking at college for 2 of these, by the way, and then we're coming back to the NFL, and we're going to talk a little bit more about a specific team you might know already. But for Lincoln Riley, how is this guy one of the highest paid head coaches in college football? This is getting ridiculous. It's the same story year in and year out, and you're a Pac-12 team. You have Caleb Williams coming back, who won the Heisman a year ago, by the way, and was supposed to do bigger things this year. I mean, realistically, not to me. I thought you'd be like New Year's Six at best. But everybody else, it seemed, was like USC playoff team. USC can do something this year. Watch out in SC. Where is it? The last 2 weeks have been absolutely abysmal. You lost to Utah, and before that, you got absolutely stomped on in South Bend by Notre Dame. Now, was I shocked? At the Utah? A little bit. At Notre Dame? No. I mean, this USC team, it's the same story, and it's going to be until they realize, hey, Lincoln Riley, he's really good at offense. He sucks at defense. He doesn't know what a legitimate defensive coordinator is. And then on top of that, your ego. You, to me, and I hope I'm wrong on this, but you just sound so egotistical. You sound like, you're a guy and you do something special and you're, a really great coach. And it's like, you're really not. You're quite literally not. Now, if you would swallow your pride and be an offensive coordinator, I could see it. But no, not as a head coach. Just like Lane Kiffin. He's not in the rant, but basically you two mirror each other, in my opinion. And you're worse than he is.
What do you mean? Lane has a defense this year.
Well, I'm getting to that. But Lane actually has a defense. Lane is actually winning in the SEC, something you couldn't even do in the Pac-12. Yeah, the Pac-12. And I know the excuses. Oh, well, the Pac-12 is actually good this year. They're still not anything special. Your best team in the Pac-12, which is Washington currently, just survived against Arizona State. Yikes. So that's my point about Lincoln Riley. It's in Oklahoma, by the way, is thriving without you. So who was really the problem at OU?
Well, you see what happens when you get a guy that knows how to call a defense, and then you just let the offensive coordinators do the offensive coordinator. I mean, Grant, they have Dylan Gabriel, who actually might be the most underrated quarterback in college football right now.
Facts.
So, yeah. Buffalo, I got a question for you. I touched on it earlier. I might not even have to cover this as much as I thought I would. Why is it when you play garbage teams, you play like garbage? You play middle of the pack teams, you play middle of the pack. But when you play great teams, you play like you should be all year. The play calling's fantastic. Oh, hit or miss.
Pretty good though against
all the way through the year. Something needs to change in Buffalo. Play calling's been atrocious. The defensive play calling's awful. Someone find balance in this offense. Stop making Josh Dahl all the time. You're going to ruin this kid's career. And also, James Cook needs the football. You also need to go draft secondary guys this year because you've been putting it off way too long and you're paying for it.
Big time.
So, yeah.
And then last but not least on the rant tray here, and I really didn't want to do this because I like Dabo Sweeney. Dabo, we need to have a talk. And Clemson football in general, we kind of need to have a talk. So let's, as Chooch just did, bring it in. Let's talk about this. Dabo, I like you. Unlike most people. Most people are ungrateful for what you did at Clemson. I'm not even a Clemson fan, and I appreciate what you've done. So let's start with that. But here's the facts, Dabo. Ever since 2020, Clemson's been a sinking ship, and it's not even close. There are some glimmers of light, don't get me wrong, but majority of it sucks. And every time recently that there's a glimmer of hope, there's a hole in the ship. For example, 2020. You have a pretty rocky start. You come back, you finish 10-2. Okay, that seems fine. Then the next year, it's just all up for a little bit, and then you go down. And then how did you end off 2021? You lost to Tennessee in the Orange Bowl. And you didn't just lose. You got your ass handed to you on live TV in the Orange Bowl. Okay, but it's a bowl game. Surely they picked it up the next year, right? No. No, they didn't. Let's go through the losses, shall we? It started fairly early with you guys this year. You lost to Duke. A Duke team that I give a little bit more credit than most years, but it's still Duke. Should you have lost this game? Realistically, no. Has Duke been able to win a big game since this point? No. They lost to Notre Dame. They're probably going to lose to Louisville, and they lost to Florida State last week. Yikes. Then, your second loss came to Florida State. At home, mind you. Something that they haven't done since not Jameis Winston, since, who's the quarterback? Now it's slipping my mind. Was it Jameis? I want to say Jameis Winston, but I could be wrong on that. So somebody in the comments, feel free to correct me. And you lost in overtime. Now, it doesn't sound so bad on this loss. You go, well, Florida State's a really good team. They're top 5. You only lost an OT, whatever. It's the way you lost. You were up. You should have had this game put to bed, and you didn't. Instead, you made some pretty boneheaded play calls. Your quarterback, which, by the way, you have no relationship with or no call over whatsoever, he gets strip sacked, game goes to OT, and you blow it in OT. But don't worry, folks, it gets worse. I didn't think it could get worse, but it gets worse. They play Miami last week. You were up by 10 points in Miami. And you blew it in overtime. Why does this seem like a common trend, Dabo? But don't worry. There's even more bad news. See, on the last play, the play call, according to Dabo, was a handoff all the way to the running back. So tell me, why did Cade Kublik rip it from the back, which would have scored, by the way, and run it and get stopped? If it was completely guaranteed a handoff all the way, that to me shows distrust. That to me shows that this quarterback should not be playing, even if he's talented. I like Cade Kublik, don't get me wrong, but he shouldn't be playing. If he doesn't respect you, he should not be playing. Period.
Yeah.
So then, and also, you made Mario Cristobal look like a passable head coach. How do you do that?
Joke.
This guy lost to Georgia Tech because he didn't know how to take a knee, and you made him look passable. I don't, Dabo, listen, buddy. If you see this rant, I don't hate you. I've said that. I've stated that. But you're gonna be fired, or you're gonna have to leave if you don't start being Dabo Sweeney again. What the actual heck happened to you, buddy? Now don't get me wrong. I love the name, image, and likeness in Jesus Christ's name. I love that. That was incredible. You built this team the right way from the ground up. You made Clemson something, but now you're losing it. I just don't get it, Dabo. I don't get it. Please, from this point on, shoot up. From this point on, beat NC State, keep going forward. I want to see you remain at Clemson because I like it. But it's your choice. You got to make the calls that best suit the team and not what you think. If you know something is wrong, you have to play what is right, and it cannot be because of, any outside factors. You have to do it because you know it. You're the head coach. Act like it.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, Dabo's got to. I just think I don't want to say Dabo's run his course, but Dabo, dude, college football's not the same when your team's not good.
Agreed.
But Cole, do you have anything for these beautiful people?
No, I'm good. My rant's over. Thank you all again so much. Every episode is truly such an honor to be able to do and to talk to you guys. So thank you all again. Cannot state that enough. And God bless y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Jacob will be back at some point, maybe next week.
I believe next week's what he said.
Friday, we will be back with the College Football Show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the JCP End Zone Perspective. This was the NFL Review Show. That's Cole. I'm Chooch. He's the C. I'm the P from JCP. Thank you. We will see you Friday. And for this show, we'll see you next week. Everyone, have a beautiful, wonderful football weekend. And we'll hope to see you Friday.